You put the Liz Truss in, the Liz Truss out. In, out, you shake the fucker out. Well, she's gone, she's gone. Never mind, she lasted 45 days, bless her, and she's gone. Who's next for another 40-day stint? Bloody hell. If you're joining from overseas, then we're in the UK here, and yes, Liz Truss has gone. Anyway, I don't get involved with politics because it's all bullshit anyway. Right, so part 3. Part 3 of my journey so far. So if you've not watched part 1 or part 2, then please go back and watch them if you wish. If not, you can stay here. I'm going to do a little bit of a recap as to what I went through in part 1 and part 2, and then we shall carry on with my awakening journey into part 3. So part 1 was basically a little bit about me, about who I am, where I'm located, what I do. Look at my beads, they're getting very long. And I'm now a Reiki Master teacher. I also work part-time. I talked a little bit about my youth, about growing up, about my education. I talked a little bit about in college and things like that and what I did there. And then I talked a little bit about my mental health, how it was affecting me from my early to mid 20s, and then how I became diagnosed with depression, anxiety, panic attacks, and was having various flare-outs on my skin as well. And I left it around about at the point where I found a friend who introduced me to meditation, and that was around about the end of part 1. Into part 2, I talked about my meditation journey, and also kind of like the introduction to my meditation journey. Also some of the weird things that started to happen spiritually around me, with regards to feeling presences and being aware of things around me, seeing things around me. Some of this continues in probably going to be in part 3. This is actually a longer series than what I thought it was going to be, but I think the information that I've had to give you has been quite pivotal and important with regards to what's happened to me. I also talked about some of a few of the ghost hunts that I'd been on, and that sort of thing. So part 3, the end of part 2, we left it where I'd got some Moldavite, because I became aware through watching other YouTube channels, and I felt something inside me say that I needed to get a piece of this and I need to connect to crystals somehow. So again, in this one, I just wanted to step back a little bit into part 2 and talk about some of the meditation techniques that I had used from the start. So the first things that I was using via YouTube videos, which I was guided towards by a friend of my brother's, and we became very good friends, and he introduced me to meditation. And the first ones that we started using was actually angel meditations. So there's a woman called Lisa Beachy, I think it is, and she does archangel meditations, but there's lots of different angel meditations that you can find on YouTube, and they were really, really powerful. Not overly long, which was good to start with. After I did that, I started dabbling with ASMR. I found ASMR videos really relaxing, and I really enjoyed that sort of gentle tingly feeling you get around your body and around your ears. If you're not sure what ASMR means, it means auto sensory motive response, which is basically your response, the automated response that your body makes to certain sounds around you. So they use very sensitive microphones, and the brushes over them. A lot of the videos I used to watch of ASMR was like a woman cutting somebody's hair, or pretended to cut someone's hair, and it was just the sound of hair and things like that, and it was really, really relaxing, and I really enjoyed that, and really, really helped. And then after that, I went into more sort of guided meditations with people like Jason Stevenson, who I still follow, Michael Seeley, who I still follow and still listen to his. There was Lauren Ostrowski-Fenton, who does some great meditations as well. But various people that I've followed and used their meditation videos. Now I tend to just use music and just go into it, and just really enjoy it. So I'd got this piece of Moldavite, and I was starting to get a small collection of crystals, and I was thinking, well, what now? I've got them. What do I do with them now? So I had to learn about how to cleanse them and sage them, or various techniques of cleansing and using them and connecting to them. But with the Moldavite, what I felt drawn to do initially was just to meditate with it and put it on my third eye. And in the last video, I was explaining how it felt like there was a flower in my head, and it was like opening up, and I could feel things were happening in there, just in this part of the head. And I was like, wow, this is something, because I'd already learned about chakras, and I'd learned about the chakra system and our energy body and things like that. And this was way before I came into Reiki and understanding Reiki. And so I was having these sensations around here. And it made me think, there's something going on there. It must be my third eye that was opening, or something along those lines. But I didn't really know. It's just something that I thought, that is what's happening. And as soon as, after a few sessions of doing that, I became aware that I needed to do certain things within my life to assist with this further. So things like reducing my fluoride intake, because I found out that fluoride has a devastating effect on your neurological stuff within your brain, but it also shuts down and calcifies the pineal gland, or what I came to understand, calcified the pineal gland and sort of reduce its ability to function. And so that was my thing then. So I was looking into various things that I could use, and I was asking various people that I knew, because I started to get a little bit of a tribe around me of various people that I was aware of, and they'd suggested fluoride-free toothpaste. I thought, right, okay, that'll be a good one to start with. So I did that, and then I looked into water filters that would help remove the fluoride from the water and remove all the other chemicals from the water as well. So I found a really good, kind of bog standard really, water filter, but the water that I drank from it was amazing. The taste difference in the water, and using the fluoride-free toothpaste as well had a really big effect and a real good help on not just my third eye, but also my overall health as well. It was weird, but removing all the chemicals and all the crap that is associated with good oral hygiene or with water actually helped my general health a lot as well. I was also drawn to I'd stopped smoking by this point. I was going to say I was also drawn to stop smoking, but I'd already stopped smoking by then. I'd stopped smoking before the meditation, and that had a big effect on me as well, on my health, on my breathing, on my fitness. I started going to the gym quite a lot as well at that point, to try and lose some of the stop smoking weight that I'd put on, plus the weight that I put on from the beta blockers that the doctors had put me on. And I think by this point, I was also roughly at the stage or thereabouts of coming off the medication and sort of like reducing the dosage. I did try just stopping the medication, that wasn't good. So I had to sort of wean myself off it and reduce my intake of the medication. Because when I did stop it, I had just kind of like a crash, within my mental health. So I wasn't quite ready to step away from that yet. I still need to use that a little bit, but I did start to wean myself off it because, again, I felt that it wasn't doing anything for me. It was making me more like a zombie, and I wasn't experiencing life as I wanted to experience it. And when you go through a spiritual awakening or an awakening of whatever, there's a few different, like Kundalini and all that sort of stuff, but an awakening is an awakening, regardless of the journey that you take to get there, and you become aware that you become more aware about who you are. There's a dog coming in the room. It's not a ghostly movement of the door. Hello, dog. So you become more aware of who you are, but you also become aware that you are not you, basically. You are an avatar. You are just a meat suit for this energy that is within you to carry around. And although, yes, we live an earthly life, we have a name, we have all that sort of stuff, there is something much deeper and much more profound behind that. And that was my kind of realization, especially when I started going deeper with my meditation and with the Moldavite. And what happened a couple of times was I actually left my body, and I did what you would know as astral travel, or astral project. And it wasn't anything sort of massive. I didn't kind of go into space or anything like that, but what did happen, the first time it happened, while meditating with the Moldavite on my third eye, I became extremely relaxed and extremely at peace with the place that I was at. And I started to feel my energy lift. And it started to lift out of my body. My consciousness of my whole body lifted out of my body. And it felt as though my energy and my body had separated, and I was in a totally different dimension. I was in a totally different place, but I was aware that I was connected to my physical body still. However, I didn't have the weight, I didn't have the worry, I didn't have the stress of what was within my meat suit. I just had my energy, and it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. And that was really a big eye-opener for me, on so many levels. And after I'd done that, I became aware of when I was young, and I think I mentioned this in my first video, my first part, but when I was young, I used to dream of floating down the stairs, and busying about in various places in dream state, but I was actually astral traveling. That's what was happening, and that's exactly what this felt like when I was in this place. So it was amazing. It was really amazing, and I felt so light, so at ease. But it was only for a very short space of time, because the realization of what was happening, and kind of like a kick of fear, really. I was just like, oh wow, what's this? This is a little. So it was only for seconds. It was literally seconds, but it felt like an eternity. In that moment, it just felt like everything now in one, an eternity. It was absolutely amazing. It was profound, and I've tried again to astral travel. I mean, I've done it twice. The second time was for a little bit longer, and I did lift further out of my body, but again, eventually I pinged back in, and again, just as profound experience, really. It was such beautiful, again, peace, weightlessness, bliss. Just now, just everything was now. So yeah, and that's been kind of like for a while anyway. It was a bit of a task for me to do that again, but the more I tried, the more I couldn't. So I just kind of like left it alone. I thought, right, okay, well, I've experienced it and I know what it's about. Now when I find now that when I go into a meditation, into a deep meditation, I find myself just as relaxed. Although I'm not above my body, I'm not floating. I do feel like as though I lift slightly, but that's just kind of like my energy, my vibration lifting. But I feel extremely relaxed, and it's extremely at ease and at peace with everything, and with the now. So it was a beautiful, beautiful experience to be able to do that. So that was my kind of starting off with Moldavite, and I thought, this is something else. That this has some extraterrestrial power, because it is from outer space. It's from an asteroid that hit the planet millions of years ago in the Czech Republic, and this is the Moldavite itself is a glass from all the heat and moisture and air that was combined together in this massive explosion and created these fragments of glass. Unfortunately, it is finite, so it is running out, and that's why it's becoming very, very expensive now. And there is a lot of fake out there as well, especially from China and places like that. There is a lot of fake Moldavite, so you have to be careful with that. But I'd also got other crystals as well, and I got your basics really to start off with. It was an amethyst, I think it was probably a rose quartz, a citrine, a clear quartz, and I think that was probably about it. But the amethyst worked really well on the third eye as well. So if you can't get a hold of a Moldavite, then try an amethyst. So anyway, that's a little bit about that, and obviously, as you know, if you're a regular viewer to my channel, there's lots of videos on this channel to do with crystals, but that's just an aspect of my awakening. And so anyway, a few years had passed, and I was well on my meditation journey. I was well aware that the place that I was working was very negative, very toxic, and not very good for my health and my mental health, my physical health, and my vibration, my energetic health. So I left there, and I got another job in a coffee shop. So if you're a regular viewer of the channel, you'll be aware that I used to work in a coffee shop as well. And this is where I found out about my Reiki master. And where should we start with this? Because it was an interesting place. It was a very old building, and it was haunted. So there was a lot of spooky, ghostly goings on in the building. And I may make a video separate to that about the things that were going on in there with regards to this, because this is kind of like, although it was part of my journey, it's not as important at the minute. So I got another job, and I went to this coffee shop, and I was working there. And there was one night we were cleaning up, and we were sweeping around, and it had like this big sort of wooden fireplace at one side of the building, and on there was all these different leaflets for different businesses, and one of them was about Reiki in this little plastic stand, and I thought, oh, that's interesting, and something like kind of went ping in the back of my head, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. And I knew about Ki, I knew about Reiki because I'd done martial arts, I'd done Aikido, so I knew about this Ki energy, this Japanese energy form, which is universal energy. And so I knew it was that aspect, but I didn't know what the Rei was. And anyway, the guy that was on the front of the leaflet came in the coffee shop pretty much every day. So I managed to catch him and have a chat to him. And anyway, he offered me a free session because his first session was free, and went for that and felt like different after it. And by this time, I'd stopped my medication because of the meditation being so successful. I'd stopped the medication, and yeah, something had changed with regards to these Reiki sessions, and I didn't really know what it was. I just felt, again, I felt a whole level lighter, floatier, and it was interesting. So I'd booked myself some more sessions on top of that, and I thought, I need to experience this a little bit more and see where it takes me. And I do remember on the first few sessions with him, I was laid and I had my eyes closed, and I was aware of seeing things in my third eye. And I saw like a Native American. So I described the Native American quite clearly to my Reiki master, Ken, who obviously he's now my Reiki master teacher. So I described the Native American to him, and he said, that's White Cloud, that's my spirit guide. I was like, oh, he said, and he asked what the age was that he was presenting at, and I said about what age, and he said, that's how he presents. I was like, all right, okay. And I saw other visuals and other things and lots of colours. So there was all this extra sensory stuff that was going on. I was like, wow, this is strange, this is weird. But it was really, really lovely, and and it was something that I wanted to develop further, more. And then I found out that he taught Reiki, and I was like, oh, right, ping, again at the back of the head. So I realised then that I had to learn this. And after learning level 1, I knew that I had to do all the levels to be able to teach this, because it was absolutely amazing. The journey where Reiki started me from to where I am now has been it's been amazing. It's been extremely subtle, but it's been amazing. And there's been things that have happened to me since then, since being attuned to Reiki. So when I got attuned to Reiki 1, during my attunements, I was made aware of 2 of my spirit guides, a wolf and an eagle, and after the 4 attunements for Reiki 1, you go through something called a 21-day cleansing cycle, and during this cycle where you give yourself Reiki every day, and you try to do meditation, you try to eat healthily and drink lots of water to flush all the toxins out so you can heal easy. And obviously I was having filtered water, no fluoride, all that sort of stuff. And I kept hearing the word Hayoka, Hayoka, Hayoka. And I didn't have a clue what it meant. I was just like, but it just kept popping in my head, and I was just like, I don't know what it means. So after a few days it was still going. I was like, this is like kind of driving me a little bit batty. So I asked, and I'd said, look, if this is someone wanting to communicate to me, or if it's one of my guides, can you let me know and bring it into my realm so I can be made aware of what this word means? So it was like the next day, I put on my YouTube feed, and the first video at the very top was about Hayoka. And I was like, oh, so I had to watch it, and I can feel my guide present now as I talk about it. And so I learned about Hayoka, and they were part of a Native American tribe, and they were the strongest empaths of the Native American tribes. They were also kind of the entertainers, the musicians, the poets, all that sort of stuff. So they give the tribes entertainment, but they were known as Hayoka. And then I started getting another word over and over and over again. And it was her name, and I just took it as a female name, and I now know that yes, it was a female name. And so I said, look, if this is you, are you the Hayoka Native American, and is this your name? If it is, can you just make yourself aware to me? And I was sat downstairs, and I said this just in my head during a meditation, and I felt this amazing, overwhelming feeling of love, bliss, joy, every high vibrational energy you could think of go straight through my body, back into my body, and whoosh up my body. And I was like, oh, what was that? That was just absolutely amazing. And I just felt I was close to tears, but I was also extremely joyful. It was amazing. And that was just after level 1. And as the healing with myself continued, after a few months, I started getting ringing in the ears, but it was quite a low pitch. And as my healing continued, it started getting a little bit higher and a little bit higher. Now, when I'm doing Reiki now, I know when I'm connecting to Reiki, my ears ring. I also get heat in the hands. Reiki 1, I got a lot of tingling in my hands, and my hands went very hot. Reiki 2, my hands just became hot. Reiki 3, again, my hands become hot. But also after my attunement, what I found was from Reiki 3, the end of my nose tingled for quite a while, and also the ends of my fingers tingled for a while, but now that's all stopped, and it's just my hands do get warm or hot sometimes, depending on how much healing somebody needs, and I get the ringing in the ears. But the ringing in the ears also starts for me when spirit is near, when there is energy present. So sometimes I can tune into it, sometimes I can't. It depends on where I'm at within me. So I have to sometimes really try to tune in and really try to work with that energy. If you have to force it too much, then I just leave it to do what it needs to do. Because sometimes if you try and force it, you try too hard, and then your level of discernment between what your imagination is and what you're actually hearing and seeing and feeling can get quite mixed up a little bit. So you have to be really, really careful with that. So that's kind of like what Reiki brought to me. And it's funny how all this stuff, the change in job, the Reiki, all this stuff happened after I got the Moldavite. And they do say that Moldavite is a crystal of change, of transformation, of awakening, of healing. It's got so many powers and so many powers, so many properties, and so many amazing magical abilities that it can bring into people's lives. It really, really has. And I pretty much wear it all the time now, every day. Initially, when I started using it, I used to get palpitations. I used to get quite hot. That's the Moldavite sweats that they call it. I used to get a little bit dizzy because the vibration is so high. A lot of people can't use Moldavite or can't wear Moldavite because it's just so high vibrational. It's so powerful. I'm now at a stage where I can just wear it all the time. Sometimes if I have a break away from it and then wear it after maybe 2 or 3 weeks, I will feel the effects again because it's not been in my vicinity or within my energy field for some time. So that's been kind of like my journey up to now. Obviously now I'm a Reiki master teacher. I've done Reiki 1, Reiki 2 and Reiki 3. I'm wanting to do so much more. I want to learn a lot more. I want to learn other healing modalities. My next step for me is to teach Reiki. I think I'll talk about the coffee shop in a different video, because there was a lot of strange stuff that happened there that was quite scary as well, and quite frightening. So I will do that in another video. But that's kind of it. That's where we're at. And you might be thinking, well, it doesn't sound like an amazing sort of wow pizzazz kind of thing that you get from a spiritual awakening, but it really has been a wow pizzazz amazing thing that you get from a spiritual awakening, because I've cured my depression, I've cured my anxiety. I've come to realize that we're not here just to eat, sleep, repeat. I also am aware of the energy that we have within us, and this soul, this life force, this presence. And the present moment is everything. The past is gone. The future isn't even here yet. Everything is just in the now, and energy is in the now. Energy doesn't know time and space, and so that's where you become aware when you have a spiritual awakening that that's all that really exists. And so you step away from the worry, the fear, the stress, and you try to become aligned with who and what you truly are, which is spirit in form. And that's where we are now with this journey. And the reason why I make these videos is to try to educate people, and not educate them, but allow them to see that awakenings come in so many different forms. They come in so many different ways. I know people that have been through spiritual awakenings that have been absolutely horrific and have actually turned to me for some help. I know people that have been through spiritual awakenings that have been extremely calm, extremely light, and it's just been like there you go. And then they just become aware. But after I'd stopped using after the work with the Moldavite in the third eye, started drinking the filtered water, fluoride-free toothpaste. I always seem to question things anyway, a little bit. But ever since then, I now look at everything and question everything, and I flip it around and I turn it around and I'm like, right, what's the true story behind this that we're being told, that we're being hoodwinked with? There is so much more going on that we never get told, that the mainstream media and the world tries to put a veil over. But that veil is now getting thinner and thinner and thinner, because the awakening is a natural progression of humanity. It's the next evolutionary stage of consciousness, of humanity. And those that think they are higher up there in their crystal towers and whatever, they think that they can slow it down. But as each person awakens, it snowballs and snowballs, and this journey, this path gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And as we see more and more people waking up to the illusion, the matrix, and waking up to who they really are and what they truly are, and operating on a vibration of higher frequencies of love, of gratitude, of joy, then again that has an effect on the energetic collective, on the planet, on the universe, because everything is awakening at this time because of this energy from ourselves, from the planet, and from the universe. We are all part of the universe. We are universe, and we are source, and it's all going through a shift, and it's amazing, it's powerful. It can be testing, and we have to ride the waves with it, because there will be a lot of waves. You know, it does go up and down. You will feel shitty, you will feel really good, you will feel in between, but that's all part of the healing process as you awaken with awakening ascension symptoms, awakening symptoms, whatever you want to call them. There is a lot of stuff that we will need to go through on a physical level, because our energy upgrades very, very fast, but our physical body takes a long time to catch up with the energy. And you've probably all been feeling it recently. I know I have. I've been feeling really last couple of weeks I've been feeling really kind of tested and pushed and pressured. I've not been feeling as tuned in. I've been feeling tired, can't be bothered, and that's not like me. But there is a lot of stuff going on at the minute, universally, energetically, in the collective, as well as astrally out there. So enjoy the ride, enjoy your spiritual awakening. Or you can always reach out to me as well if you're going through anything that you don't understand. I am on Telegram as Reiki Zen. I'm on Instagram as Reiki Zen_Ian. I'm also on Facebook. I'll link all my socials below if you want to message me. You can go to my website. You can message me through the website, which is reikizen.co.uk. But I will link all my socials and everything below if you need to get in touch about anything, about any Reiki, about any healing, about any strange things that have been going on that you need to try and get to the bottom of. I will try to help you with that. But enjoy the ride, follow your intuition, enjoy the synchronicities, because when you start getting them, you're like, I just laugh now. I laugh and I smile because it's messages that are there for a reason. You're on the right path. So have a beautiful, beautiful day wherever you are. I hope you've enjoyed this series of videos, and look out for more in the future. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel by clicking the link below, and also click the little bell so you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And don't forget to give me a bing, to give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed the content on this channel so far and enjoyed this video. And until the next time, much love to you all. Take care of yourselves, and namaste. Toodaloo!